Now, my next guest is an award-winning comedian and actor who, at the age of 30, discovered she had hearing loss and tinnitus. She now works with two charities, Action on Hearing Loss and the British Tinnitus Association, to raise awareness of both the conditions. And I'm pleased to say Samantha Davis is here to talk about it. Samantha, lovely to see you. Just to explain for those who are unaware of it, exactly what tinnitus is. Many people will just dismiss it as a bother that perhaps occurs in slightly later life.
So tinnitus is a repeated noise that you hear in your head. Mm-hmm. So I originally thought tinnitus was just a high-pitched beep. Mm-hmm. Actually, the sort of tinnitus that I first noticed was kind of a whooshing noise, a bit like... So I genuinely thought I had a spider living in my ear at one point, because we've all seen those weird videos on the internet and the film Alien. So the reason I went to the doctor was because I just heard this noise and was slightly worried. And it turned out that it was tinnitus, and there are loads of different types of tinnitus. It's not just a high-pitched beep, and they're not all consistent. They can be brought on by loud noise, which mine was.
So how does this constant noise, how does that affect your life? I mean, sleep presumably is affected, but it's the waking hours as well, this constant background hum.
So what's really interesting about tinnitus, I think, is we've all heard of it, and there's no cure at the moment. So you do have to live with it. So it is about finding out ways that you can deal with it on an ongoing basis, listening to ambient music before you go to sleep, finding ways to kind of zone out of it, whether that's by watching TV or reading a book. And it's also just not letting it affect your life too much, because I think when I found out about my tinnitus, I have two types, buy one, get one free, love a bargain, and I have a hearing aid in one ear. And when I found out about all those things, I thought I wouldn't be able to go out anymore, and I wouldn't be able to socialise, and I do stand-up comedy, so I'm in loud environments every evening.
Well, are you able then? You're doing stand-up comedy, Magic Mike as well, which we'll mention in just a second. I think the women in the organisation will kill me if I don't. But are you able to focus? Is there not the desire to kind of just go inwards a little bit when you have this background noise? I mean, how do you cope with it?
Yeah, I think that is one of the things that is most difficult for a lot of people, and myself included, is having a noise in your head that no one else can hear, that is there all the time at the back of everything else. So it really is about strategies, and reducing stress can help, meditation and mindfulness. That's loads of things that British Tinnitus Association recommends, and they also have help groups, because I think tinnitus is something we've always sort of ignored and never really taken seriously, but it can really affect your life. Mm-hmm. But I would like to say, from my perspective, I'm still leading a full life, and working in an industry and socialising and getting out and about with tinnitus and having hearing aid. Well,
I suppose one way to distract from the noise in your ear is to have an oiled-up, half-naked man writhing around on a stage in front of you. You're appearing in Magic Mike Live at the moment. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, they're not oiled.
OK, all right, sorry, that's just my imagination's running away with me.
They would slip everywhere on the stage. Yeah, so I'm in Magic Mike Live, so it's a dance spectacular based on the Magic Mike films, co-directed by Channing Tatum. We've got a team of 13 brilliant professional dancers who also happen to be rather good looking and lovely human beings. And there's live music and acrobatics and comedy, maybe, from me.
Sounds exciting. For those who might want a little bit more information on tinnitus, very briefly, where should they head?
Yeah, so for tinnitus, check out the British Tinnitus Association, and for any hearing loss worries, Action on Hearing Loss. They both do great support groups.
Samantha Baines, lovely to have you in the studio today. Thanks for joining us. Time for us, though, to get a final look at the weather.